In this video, we will show you how to remove and replace key components in your lift. These components include the control box, the actuator, actuator cable, motor assembly, and the gears. Please make sure you have completed the Level 1 and Level 2 videos before proceeding with this video. To replace the control box, remove the battery, then all of the cables. Remove the torque screw on the top of the control box using the appropriate driver. Slide the control box up and off of the mounting plate. To install the new control box, place it on the mounting plate with the cable ports pointing down. Then slide the box down so that it is secured by the tabs at the end of the mounting plate. Replace the torque screw on the top of the control box and securely connect all of the cables. Test all lift functions with both the touchpad control and the hand control to ensure that the lift operates properly. To replace the actuator, remove the battery and unplug the actuator cable from the control box. Remove the seat assembly by loosening the thumb nut that attaches it to the arm. Then remove the bolt and the seat assembly. Next, loosen the nut at the bottom of the actuator using a socket wrench and remove the bolt. Remove both Phillips screws at the top of the actuator using a small flat blade screwdriver. Remove the two bearing sleeves and the support rod, then remove the actuator. Carefully lower the support arm so that it rests on the ground. Install the new actuator, repeating the same steps used to remove the old one. Make sure the two sleeve bearings on each side of the support arm are installed correctly during reassembly. Confirm you have installed all replacement parts and reassembled all components properly. Test all lift functions with both the touchpad control and the hand control to ensure the lift is operating properly. If you need to replace the motor assembly, gears, or motor cable, you will need to disassemble the lift to gain access to these components. First, remove the battery, then unplug all cables from the control box, including the hand control. Remove the two thumb screws from the side of the lift cover and the two screws from the top of the cover using a flat blade screwdriver. Next, remove the two cover pieces. To replace the motor cable, you must first detach the support bracket that secures the terminal block to the lift using a socket wrench. Gently lift the support bracket to gain access to the terminal block. To replace the motor cable, loosen the two screws in the terminal block with a small flat blade screwdriver. Then remove the cable end. Make sure to note the cable routing, as this will need to be repeated when installing the new cable. Connect the end of the cable to the terminal block, making sure that the red wire from the motor is matched to the brown wire from the cable, and the black wire from the motor is matched to the blue wire from the cable. Then securely tighten the terminal screws. To replace the gears or motor, you will need to further disassemble the lift. Start by removing the seat assembly. Loosen the thumb nut on the bolt that attaches the seat assembly to the arm. Remove the bolt, then remove the seat assembly. Next, using the lift caddy, carefully lift the axis out of the anchor until it rests comfortably on the caddy. Be sure to lock the wheels on the caddy after lowering it to a resting position. To replace the small gear, first disengage the toggle clamp. Then remove the spring clip on the top of the gear using a small flat blade screwdriver to work the clip off the motor shaft. With the clip removed, pull up on the gear to remove it. Make sure to keep the retaining pin that locks the gear on the motor shaft, as it will need to be reused when replacing the gears. If the large gear is damaged, then the hub assembly needs to be replaced. First, disengage the toggle clamp. Remove the two nuts from the mast base using a deep well socket. Remove the support bracket that holds the terminal block, making sure the motor cable and cord are not damaged. Grip the hub assembly by the base and gently pull it from the mast. To replace the new hub assembly, align it so that the mounting studs are oriented closest to the motor assembly. Reinstall the support bracket and install and securely tighten both nuts. To replace the motor assembly, you will need to first remove the small and large gears. Please follow the previous steps we just covered to carefully remove both gears and the hub assembly. To replace the motor, start by removing the two large bolts that attach the motor assembly to the base of the lift using a metric socket wrench. Remove the motor assembly from the base of the lift. Replace the new motor by following the same steps used to remove the old one. Make sure the mounting spacer is in place on the lift base before mounting the new motor assembly and securely tighten all bolts. Reattach the hub assembly and large gear. Make sure to align it so that the mounting studs are oriented closest to the motor assembly. Correctly connect the motor cable and motor cord to the terminal block. Reinstall the support bracket and install and securely tighten both nuts. Reattach the small gear, engage the toggle clamp, and make sure the gears mesh without binding. Insert the lift back into the anchor, then replace the lift cover. Reattach the seat assembly and reconnect all of the cables to the control box. Finally, reinstall the battery. Make sure to test the lift functions after replacing either the motor assembly, motor cable, or gears. Use both the touchpad control and the hand control to confirm the lift is functioning properly after installing any new parts. Congratulations! You've now completed the final video in the aXs troubleshooting series.